It is within our innate drive to want to make sense of the things that happen to and go on around us, putting ourselves back in kilter when we get thrown for a loop by finding a logical solution or valid explanation. Yet, paradoxically, we are highly prone to lean towards complexity versus simplicity, oftentimes completely overlooking the obvious or probable solution, with our focus jumping immediately to the more complex resolution. And it is within these combined human tendencies that could possibly be one of the biggest issues leading towards the distorted and misconstrued understanding of narcissist. And perhaps maybe our doctors, scientists, and diagnostic requirements are actually creating a complexity bias, trying to make order out of utter chaos that no order will ever apply, making it more confusing, challenging, and almost as maddening to grasp the understanding of as it is to attempt explaining to someone who's never dealt with a narcissist before about this clusterfuck of a person who has turned your life into a fairy tale from the crypt and is more full of bullshit than a Black Angus cattle farm the size of Texas. Why? Because in all realness, the diagnostic requirements for NPD aren't exactly going to go down in history for being some Nobel Prize winner in its tremendous ableism of clearing a pathway through the voided misconceptions and bringing forth an understanding to help others recognize and identify these individuals in such that we take a disorder of someone to whom most can't even fathom or have the imagination to be able to believe even exist. An individual, mind you, only reason they are sitting in that chair is because it benefits them to be there more so than it would to not. It is not out of their own free will, wanting to get better or to receive their official diagnosis. A diagnosis to which is based off of information that a psychiatrist collects from the responses to their questions answered by a pathological lying con artist who has devoted their life into remaining in a perpetual state of denial so they can carry on with their delusional, fantastical conjurings, avoid accountability, responsibility, and having to face who they are. An individual who has mastered the art of deception and has more manipulative tricks up their sleeve than David fucking Copperfield, and believes they are smarter, wittier, superior, and most authoritative figure in existence. How could anything possibly go wrong with that? But well, just in case, it's always good to leave a little wiggle room for error, especially since these individuals are known for their changing the plot to their narrative more than the wind changes direction, as well as their black and white mentality way of thinking. So we'll toss into the mix some different types and then some subsets to each type that we can attach to this ironclad proof diagnosis. Of course, that will need to come with a disclaimer that at any point fluidly go from one subset to the other or acquire traits from a whole different personality disorder altogether, taking on and acquiring these traits due to situational, circumstantial, or environmental changes that can be triggered by actual or perceived threats. And there you have it, lickety-split, easy peasy, nothing to it. Just be sure, whatever you do, to steer clear of labeling someone as a narcissist, as this diagnosis can only be acquired by a licensed psychiatrist. But unfortunately, unless they are able to somehow unknowingly monitor these individuals, both auditory and visually, for an extended period of time, no way in hell they are going to be able to obtain the necessary data to even come close in demonstrating the behaviors and characteristics that they truly present with at all. And perhaps rather than making the identification or probability that you're likely dealing with one of these individuals more confusing, with spectrums, types, subsets, fluidities, and comorbidities, the claim that it is one complex disorder. Just call it what it is, a disorder of complete and utter chaos. The list of all the potential traits and characteristics they may present, exhibit, or acquire at any given point due to situational, circumstantial, and environmental changes. Because at the end of the day, trying to figure out why these people do what they do all boils down to who the fuck really knows. And because there is no way of knowing why these people are legitimately the walking, talking definition of chaos, whether you have a PhD or a GED, if you suspect or have even the slightest inkling that you could be dealing with one of these demonic, shape-shifting chameleons, the best thing that you can do is to remove yourself from the situation entirely. Because they're being predictably unpredictable, coiled up balls of chaos, not to mention have a total disregard for anyone else. Also makes them extremely dangerous. When you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. Because trying to turn a horse into a zebra is not helping a single thing. Focus on you. Fuck the narcissist.